Have you ever felt that sudden jolt when your car slides on wet pavement? That moment when control seems to slip through your fingers and your mind races faster than your tires? That instant, brief as a heartbeat, carries within it a lesson far greater than any traffic warning or caution sign could ever teach. It is in these moments of uncertainty, when friction gives way to motion and the predictable transforms into chaos, that we are reminded of the fragile balance between our actions and the forces that govern them. Richard Feynman, the legendary physicist, often spoke of understanding the world by observing it closely, not just accepting what seems obvious. He would tell us that the principles behind a car skidding are not just technicalities of rubber meeting asphalt, but reflections of deeper truths about cause and effect, observation, and the responsibility that comes with knowledge. Every tire has a limit, a threshold of grip dictated by friction and weight distribution, and every driver has a limit as well, a threshold of attention, reaction, and understanding. Most of us never consider the forces at play until we feel them. We don't notice inertia until it suddenly opposes us, nor do we appreciate friction until it disappears beneath a layer of water or ice. Yet in that brief confrontation with physics, there is an awakening, a chance to see life itself as a series of interactions governed by principles that do not bend to wishful thinking. You see, the same way tires can lock and slide if the driver panics, our own decisions can falter under pressure when we ignore the laws that quietly govern reality. Feynman's approach, always curious, always experimental, reminds us to observe without fear, to measure without prejudice, and to approach every situation with the humility of someone who knows that understanding is a lifelong pursuit. In driving, as in life, anticipation matters as much as reaction. To press the brake too hard without knowledge of the surface beneath your wheels is to invite chaos. To act without thinking is to dance with forces far larger than your own intentions. Yet there is beauty in that tension, in the moment when awareness and action must meet. That is the suspenseful heartbeat of existence, mirrored perfectly in the physics of sudden braking. Every skid is a teacher, every loss of traction a revelation of limits, and every regained control a triumph of mindfulness and understanding. If we pay attention, if we embrace curiosity as Feynman did, the roads become a classroom, the tires become instruments, and even the most frightening slip becomes an opportunity to grasp something essential about motion, consequence, and the delicate art of staying upright in a world that is always moving beneath our feet. But what happens when that understanding is tested, when theory collides with reality in the most unpredictable way? Imagine a sharp turn on a rain-slicked road, your tires suddenly losing their grip, the car beginning to skid, and a sense of helplessness rising like a wave that threatens to overwhelm. In that instant, the world slows, not because time has changed, but because attention sharpens, focus narrows, and every fraction of a second carries immense weight. Richard Feynman would have marveled at this, the way the ordinary becomes extraordinary when the limits of nature are revealed so vividly. He would observe not just the skid itself, but the intricate dance of friction, inertia, and momentum, the invisible threads connecting rubber, road, and gravity, all conspiring to teach a lesson that is impossible to ignore. Suspense is not just a cinematic tool. It is a natural consequence of stepping close to the edge of understanding, of encountering the limits of what we can control. In driving, as in life, the moment a tire loses adhesion mirrors the way a single miscalculation, a slight misjudgment, can send consequences sliding far beyond our expectations. The fear we feel is real, but so is the opportunity, the chance to respond, to correct, to regain balance not by luck but by knowledge and presence. Anti-lock braking systems, for example, are not magical inventions. They are practical applications of physics, designed to respect the laws that govern motion, to work in harmony with friction and inertia rather than in opposition to them. Yet even the most advanced technology cannot replace awareness, cannot substitute for the mind that observes, thinks, and adjusts. And there lies the tension that makes these moments unforgettable. The raw unpredictability of the world versus the human capacity to understand and adapt. Feynman's philosophy whispers here, urging us to notice, to question, to probe the subtle nuances of cause and effect in every action we take. The suspension of fear becomes the suspension of certainty, the awareness that for every skid, there is a pattern if only we are willing to see it. For every slide, there is a principle to grasp, and for every sudden stop, a reflection on the forces that shape our lives. Suspense carries a lesson. It reminds us that control is never absolute, that our mastery of life depends not on eliminating risk, but on understanding it, respecting it, and responding with clarity. In the car, on the road, we learn to balance aggression with caution, speed with mindfulness, action with thought. In life, the same principles apply. Every challenge, every sudden shift, is an invitation to observe more closely, to act more deliberately, and to embrace the uncertainty that both frightens and excites us. The thrill of the unknown is inseparable from the opportunity to grow, to learn, and to transform a moment of potential disaster into a testament of skill, patience, and awareness. When the skid ends and control returns, it leaves more than relief. It leaves insight, an understanding that the same forces shaping the path beneath our wheels shape the journey of our lives, invisible yet undeniable, chaotic yet teachable, terrifying yet endlessly fascinating. If you approve, I can move on to paragraph 3, where we will tie everything together with ultimate motivation and a strong conclusion, including the call to action. Do you want me to proceed? Here's paragraph 3, written in a continuous narration style, approximately 500 words, bringing the script to a motivational and philosophical conclusion with a clear call to action. And so, when we consider why cars skid during sudden braking, we realize it is not merely a question of mechanics, but a reflection of life's intricate balance between control and surrender, knowledge and instinct, preparation and reaction. Every tire, every molecule of rubber meeting the asphalt, every drop of water on the road, embodies principles that obey the universe whether we understand them or not. Richard Feynman taught us that true wisdom comes from looking deeply at these principles, from observing carefully, and from never taking things at face value. In the split second when the car begins to slide, we are presented with a mirror of our own existence. The sudden shifts, the moments of uncertainty, the challenges that push us to the edge of what we think we can handle. In that instant, fear is not our enemy. It is a signal, a reminder that awareness matters, that thought precedes action, and that understanding can turn peril into opportunity. The same laws of friction and inertia that govern a skidding tire also govern the momentum of our habits, the resistance of our fears, and the trajectory of our choices. If we ignore them, we risk losing control. If we respect them, we gain mastery over motion itself. And mastery is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is about recognizing the forces at play and responding with clarity and courage. Life, much like driving, is full of sudden breaks and unexpected turns, and it is in our response to these moments that character, skill, and insight are forged. Feynman's philosophy reminds us that the beauty of understanding lies in curiosity, in noticing the patterns that others might overlook, and in embracing the joy of discovery, even amidst uncertainty. There is a profound satisfaction in recognizing that knowledge is not abstract. It is practical, applicable, and transformative. It allows us to anticipate, to act deliberately, and to navigate challenges with confidence rather than panic. Every skid teaches us humility, but also resilience. The resilience that comes from knowing that even when circumstances seem beyond our control, the combination of observation, preparation, and mindful action can guide us back to stability. In this way, physics becomes a metaphor for life. Limits exist, risks are real, but wisdom allows us to move skillfully within those boundaries. By studying the principles behind friction, inertia, and braking systems, we are reminded that understanding the world equips us not only to survive but to thrive. Each lesson learned on the road carries over into the wider journey of our lives, illuminating the connection between knowledge, awareness, and purposeful action. So, as we reflect on these ideas, let us commit to observing keenly, to learning deeply, and to applying what we discover, not just in driving, but in every decision we face. Let us embrace the unknown with curiosity, meet challenge with preparation, and transform fear into understanding. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.